The tones of color are like the tones of a music play. It can touch the soul of human beings. Colors in our proposal are used to visualize a sphere referring to the human scale. A city is like a body. For Qahira, it is the Nile that refers to the blood, refers to street, lines, routes, transport. The exchange of knowledge and experiences, maintaining a social network. The delta refers to the body, fertility, using the available ground level to its fullest, and the invisible dimension of a location, the identity. The Sahara refers to the invisible space of the body, its radiance. Its spatial presence is emptiness. This contrasts with the full urban landscape. However, an urban spatial quality can make an experience of silence and whiteness possible. The sun is energy. It refers towards life, to sustainable cycles, the constant factor where the sun is referring to, with its daily sunrise and sunset. The papyrus is the trademark of a city that is vivacity. Without contact, communication, and exchange, a city can't blossom. And the nature of papyrus is a key word in urbanism. Linking, and especially in Qahira. For Zone 1, it is linking public transport with car traffic, the so-called park and ride system. Also linking the subway with the new housing developments, far away from the center, far away from its roots, far away from its delta. For Zone 2, it is linking the city with the Nile, the river that defined the location of Qahira for centuries. A river that is now hidden behind a curtain of roads and cars. The plan for Tahrir Square contains a proposal for linking it back with the river, linking it by a pedestrian bridge over the Nile to Zamalek. And because of a multifunctional land use, a cultural aspect by creating a museum of Qahira and its influence on the rest of the world, for tourists as well as for inhabitants of Qahira. At Ataba Square, linking the Arab structure with the European structure, combining those two in a megastructure with the theme sustainability, linking today with tomorrow and the future. In Zone 3, all these proposals and ideas, our vision and inspiration, are visualized in a plan for Ramsis Square. Presently the situation is chaotic, confusing and frustrating. There is a constant conflict between the different users, assembled in one urban space, Ramsis. However, there is something present that isn't used yet, its livability, its monuments, its function as the gate to downtown, its connection with Egypt by the trains, with the rest of Qahira by the subway, minibuses and taxis, its several 100 million users a year. Here, something of the culture of Egypt can be experienced, is visible. Our vision is to use these layers to discover its hidden identity, to visualize this identity, designing an urban landscape with spaces, lines, buildings, forms, and colors. To design a sphere that accommodates the need of the people for human values. The whole plan is connected by an urban landscape with ramps and stairs. A functional, constantly used design tool as a result of underpassing the traffic roads on the ground level. The sunken design space enables pedestrians to cross the square on the ground level. They are now, because of the invitation we designed, in a natural way separated from the vehicular traffic. The space can accommodate several functions, fixed and spontaneously, adapting new activities, changing on a daily basis. The different perspectives you get by walking in this curved landscape will change also the experiential value. The only fixed scenery of the space are the buildings along and at the very end of them, existing monuments and landmarks and new, colorful ones. Some of them are part of the lifted promenade that is sited around the northern and western side of S.C.A station. The origin of the promenade and its line is to create a transition zone, an empty space at the south side of S.C.A station, to preserve the front elevation of this valuable building. As a contrast, a filled space at the north side. A scenery by the forms and colors, and visible from the south side of the station. A designed invitation for people to visit this new, visual urban experience. It can become part of the urban experience of every inhabitant of Qahira. One can identify themselves with this image, visual and by the experience. The cultural quarter with its theaters, studios, apartment buildings, and cinema is an enrichment of this. But why building a mixed-use area with a high density in an already dense area? Qahira will face a demand for more housing areas if the expected growth of population would become a reality. The urbanization of the desert as well as the delta has its limits, environmental, social, cultural, and economical. Building on an empty space near the center is often resulting in a high-rise scheme with limited functions, where the human scale is missing. Increasing the density is an opportunity if this will be done without a decrease of the spatial quality. We wanted to design an example of a dense, multifunctional built environment, a layered design where the buses have their own separate bus station, where a car park is located underneath the development of the units, creating a maximum of public space with a minimum of traffic, with the purpose to link this new development by its legibility with Shubra, and to link it with an elementary element of Qahira, its vivacity. The intention of this plan is to design an area where the human scale is in balance with the density of the buildings. A quarter with several layers, lines, and connections, where the Nile, Delta, Sahara, and Sun on every level give an urban identity and experience of papyrus. Qahira.